Have you ever tried one of those I make $ working from home? Find out how you can too. How did it work out? I had a close friend try it. He was getting things shipped to him from all over the country and then he boxed them up in bulk and bounced them out to somewhere in Eastern Europe. He quit when I explained to him he was probably shipping things bought via credit card fraud. He did get paid though. When I was younger, naive, and still believed that you could get rich quick with minimal effort, I got into the idea of Forex day trading. I was never good at it, but I did manage to make $250 in an hour, followed by losing it all in the next 10 minutes. I quit the Forex dream before it wiped me out, but when I quit, I was ahead with a profit of $0.10. You can make money trading currencies and it can be very profitable, but it's extremely risky to try and get rich quick with it. In the long run you can only make money when you know the business, and you can't learn that in some hours, and even then it's still extremely risky. I've tried the get paid taking surveys one. You get maybe 50 cents to $1 for every survey, but most surveys end up taking more than 10 minutes to complete. It just wasn't worth my time since I would be getting way less than minimum wage. I think I stopped after 2 or 3 surveys and didn't even bother to cash out. The one survey I remember was about an ad for Glade and I had to answer questions about how the color of the background made me feel, what words come to mind looking at it, if the layout worked, etc. It sounds interesting and you certainly feel like your opinion counts, but I was done with it 5 minutes in. One of my friends proudly told me she was going to start getting paid $500 a deposit every time she deposited a check that was sent to her and transferred the balance into another account. She had just received one and was just about to go to the bank and do the first deposit when I showed up. I promptly shat a brick and insisted she take the check to the cop shop. Good job. I read that thieves use people like your friend to siphon money from an account to another. Your friend's account would be receiving illegal money and she would have been liable to paying that money back while the thief's account would remain untouched. Years ago I entered into a work from home thing where I was to fill and send out letters to people. Seemed legit enough. $25 per letter mailed, but the starting cost of postage was on my own. I ended up with a check for $25 that was actually real, but $75 in postage paid out that I never got a reimbursement for, so I lost $50 overall, which wasn't so bad. The kicker, I was mailing out letters for other people to do just what I was doing. Back when I was in school, we did one as a project. Ad in the paper says want to get rich fast and easy, send $25 for your information kit. So we did, and received a big yellow envelope, inside containing a letter that says, to get rich fast and easy, put your own ad in another paper saying the same thing as his ad. I really like this one. It's people telling idiots that they are, in fact, idiots. Then it instructs them to prey on other idiots. Awesome. Made $17,000 by selling RuneScape gold to some Chinese girl 2 years ago. Took me 5 years to make $39 billion on RuneScape. Bought a house. Good investment. Over the course of 9 months, I made about $15,000 in Amazon Best Buy gift cards with a TV watching app Viggle. Before they finally caught on, I had 50 accounts and was making hundreds of dollars a day. During that time Viggle slowly changed the things that allowed me to make so much, until finally, they banned all my accounts. By that point I was only making $25/day for a crap ton of work. It was a relief to finally be done. Viggle was amazing when it first came out. I actually did for a little bit. I found one thing that actually worked, but it was a huge pain. It was called Humanatic or something and you screened calls for when they started and ended. You got paid like 1 cent per call, so it wasn't some BS. It got tiring real quick, but it was possible to make money from home, but it wasn't a get rich quick. It was actual annoying work. Most friends I've had that have gone down this route I ended up distancing myself from, because they were constantly calling to sell me basically products they order from a catalog, markup, and reselling. One way to truly work from home, though it takes some dedication, learn some web development skill sets. You can learn pretty much all the fundamentals for free on many sites. Probably should use a throwaway for this. I agreed via email to sell eBay items through my account and keep 10% of the profit. All I did was provide the person I was emailing the address to ship to, and customers received their packages no hassle. But something was off. To list the items I was basically copy pasting the specs and pictures from a big box store's website. I began to suspect I was participating in the theft of retail items, or was involved in some sort of laundering. So I shortly quit, without giving sending the email address their 90% share. Only 2 emails were sent asking for money before all contact was lost. It was weird. Credit card fraud. The closest thing I have to this is I made about $10,000 playing WoW. I would pilot other people's accounts to different ratings in PvP and charge them anywhere from $20,000 in-game gold to $1,000. We would pilot one person's account a day, and after splitting their money I would make $100 each time. It was fun and easy at first while I was doing it, but it made a game I enjoyed into a job and it was no longer fun, so I had to stop. I do however remind my wife pretty regularly that her engagement wedding bands were completely financed by World of Warcraft. That's quite the way to buy an engagement ring. Some get rich quick schemes and jobs can be made to work, but you have to be a complete sociopath who would step over his own grandmother for a dime. If you're not a reptile-brained monster of a human being, you'll just end up being the idiot lackey that the real sociopaths take advantage of. Or you have to already have a customer base for some other purpose. For example, my hairdresser makes a killing using a section of her salon as retail kiosk selling all sorts of MLM crap to her customers. As a kid I would buy a few pizzas at the Little Caesars and take them to the Friday night football games in the fall and the baseball games in the spring-summer. The slices of pizza at the concession stand were $3 a piece, so I sold my pizza slices for $2 a slice. I made about $10 a pizza that had 8 slices, so I normally raked in about $30 or $40 a game. As a little kid I thought I was so smart for thinking of this, until other kids started doing it too. Oh well. Those kids were the China of children. DS Max and its subsidiaries. God, I hope some other juicer out there sees this and had a similar experience. Basically, it was a door-to-door sales job selling pizza coupons and oil change coupons. Other divisions of this business exist in telecom, clearance tchotchke items, etc. All sold DTD. They bring you in for a day of observation, basically making you come in and walk through the field with a salesman for a day. The whole time the salesman is actually pitching you on the job. First sign of a scam. Real companies don't have to pitch you because you want to work for them. They bought you lunch, and then you finish the day with them around 8 o'clock PM. After starting at 8 AM, we were paid by the pieces we sold, at about $10 a piece. If you sold 10, you got $100. Most people would sell 3-6 all day, for 12 hours of work. Then on top of it, they paid you with a $1,099 as an independent contractor, so no taxes were taken out of your wages. On top of this, you had the typical pyramid scheme hype. Every morning the teams would meet for a morning pump up. In this time, they'd constantly be teaching their sales method of the big 3, 5 sales steps, etc. And constantly be saying juice by that. If you've seen Requiem, this company is where that phrase comes from. Join us in creating excitement. And if you didn't drink the Kool-Aid, you were ostracized. I was 18 at the time, and ready to make my way to college. These guys spent their entire summer trying to get me to buy into their scheme, and telling me I didn't need college and could be a manager, etc. Second huge red flag. They even took me on road trips to different cities we would sell in, and wanted to take me to Miami, FL to open an office with them. As an 18-year-old naive kid, I was all in. Well, the end of the summer came, and this job was just sucking. It was becoming clear that turnover was high. The culture was one of former felons who couldn't find employment elsewhere, and in general it was a pyramid scheme. A really good one that was hard to spot. In the end, I came home for a weekend from a road trip, and decided not to go back to the job. Toasting out as they called it. This was the week that I had to register for school, so I made it just in the nick of time. Now, I'm a college grad with a great job and a wonderful life. I have this job to thank for that, because it helped me see the balls in anyone who approaches you with pictures of Ferraris trying to sell you on an opportunity. As much as it sucked walking around downtown crappy neighborhoods with a tie on in 100-degree heat, I met some cool people and had some good life learning experiences early on. TLDRDS Max, door to door, spent 2 months hoofing it in crappy neighborhoods to get the life lesson that get rich quick is a myth. I was a juicer. Everything you said, I've experienced. I tried one that was advertised on Craigslist about 10 years ago. I just moved out and wasn't making much money, so I went for it. It was a secret shopper position. It was advertised beautifully. It didn't have those fake looking promo headers or quotes from other people who had success with it. You know the ones I'm talking about. Little videos you can watch where some douchey looking guy is standing in his driveway in front of an expensive car, telling you how it really works. It was very simple and promised me a base pay of $20 HR. I was excited. The catch was that it had a sign-up fee. They'd mail me a book that had all the companies who worked with this program. All I had to do was call these locations and see if they needed someone to secret shop their store. What I envisioned the book to be was a multi-100-page book of businesses, like a phone book. Instead I received a pamphlet. It was about 12 pages, size 12 font. Altogether it had about 30 business, and they weren't local to me. They were nationwide. I paid almost $100 for it. I tried getting a refund but they had a policy. They got me. I wish people weren't so gullible. You can all but guarantee that any system that someone is selling people who want to get rich quick is complete bulls. If a guy discovers some really profitable system, he's not going to let other people make tons of money off of it. He's going to start a company and hire people to do the work and keep the profits for himself. So, by default you know that someone selling you a system is making more money selling it than he could by doing it. Not exactly what you were asking for, but a solid answer anyway. Being in high school, I tend to want to spend money a lot. So what I do is go to the store and buy a box of processed junk food every day. Twinkies, chocolate cupcakes, that kind of thing. One box with 8 is about $3 for most things. Then I go to school and sell each one for $1 to my friends. Doing this I make $25 a week, more if I feel like carrying around more than one box. The goal for me is to have $100 for a booster box of magic cards each month, and that usually works out pretty well. Now, if you could buy a bunch of this crap and go set up a stand somewhere crowded, outside a mall, a fair, a flea market, you could probably make some good profit. People would rather have candy. I sold Skittles, M&Ms, Huber bubble gum, pack for $1 or 25 cents for one, 5 in a pack, and a few other candies. I made enough in one semester for a PSP. When they first came out, some cost us about $250, and other games etc. That was 8th grade. People would buy it like crazy. Go to Sam's Club where they sell that junk in huge packs. Friend of mine does search engine optimizations through Leapforce as his regular job. You basically get sent a link to a web page and rate it based on how well it matches with the search terms. It's not all that difficult once you get the hang of how they want things judged, and it pays around $13 an hour or so. I did those free iPod sites. Ended up getting a lot of free stuff like iPods, boxes, PlayStations, $100 gift cards and things like that. The most expensive thing I ever got was a $500 gift card. I ended up selling most of these things on eBay and made a pretty good profit. The only annoying thing was that you had to sign up for all these stupid online offers and trials, and you had to keep an Excel spreadsheet to keep track of it all. Then you had to deal with calling customer service and cancelling all these services and getting the runaround. After a while, it became a pain, so I stopped. In the end though, I probably made almost 10 grand. I don't know if they are still around though. Years ago, I went to a seminar for Cutco knives. The guy passed around a knife and warned us that it was very sharp. I immediately tried it out, sliced my thumb and bled everywhere. Got the job anyway, but obviously didn't take it because I had no money to buy the startup knives or people to sell them to. I got into online poker a bit too late, but still made good money at it in college. Bought the right books, connected on the right forums, joined study groups, etc., and started pulling in about $17 HR on sit and goes, including rackback. Really not hard to do, but takes a lot of determination and patience. I had to think of it as if it were one of my classes. Ended up quitting my job at Starbucks and made decent money while I was in college until the feds came in and shut it all down. Seized almost $2,000 of money in full tilt when it went down in 2011. Supposed to be getting it all back in a few months though, so that will be a nice payday. Had a couple friends get in the business of selling air purifiers. It was a standard pyramid scheme. They gave up when 60 Minutes did a piece showing that their air purifiers might lead to higher rates of cancer. Have a friend currently in Amway. He was kind of a douche in high school. Haven't really kept up, but he always had delusions of grandeur and being an entrepreneur. Has a couple of failed businesses. Now devoting all his time to Amway. I feel bad for his kids. If you work at it and really get into the industry, cam modeling from home can make you a decent amount of money. Maybe not 10k a week like some of the bigger sites suggest, but more than $10 HR at some crap job you hate. For me, it's turned into a tidy little business. I do independent work, have my own website, and cam model. It allows me to stay at home with my special needs nephew and make more money than a regular part-time job. Okay. Serious post here. I have health problems that prevent me from getting a normal job. As a result, I've seriously looked into making money from home. There are several methods to choose from. First thing you have to learn is that you will need to work at this. It is not a get-rich-quick scheme. It is a job. It takes time. Income is not guaranteed, and if you want to do it for a living, you need to allow time for your websites to get ranked in Google. The main way to make money called affiliate marketing. This involves building a website that reviews and provides a link to whatever company is selling the product. If someone clicks on your link, they get redirected to the company page, and if they buy the product, you get a commission. The problem with this lies in getting people to see your website. Ideally, you want your page to be one of the top links that appears in Google when someone is searching for a specific product or review. This can be quite difficult. Assuming you can get the traffic to your site and get them to buy the product, you are golden. In order to make large amounts of money, however, you need to make lots of sites reviewing and selling lots of different things. Not exactly the same thing, but I have now made $4 on Fiverr.com. It seems it's hard to get gigs noticed when you're starting out. My proofreading one doesn't show up in the default set of gigs loaded in the relevant category, but I don't do anything to market the gig. Maybe if I did, I'd get more interest. I currently work from home. I started at $13.50 an hour and it's part-time. It's nothing special, but it beats having to deal with butthole co-workers, a crappy commute, rigid work hours, and uncomfortable work attire. It sure as heck beats working for minimum wage. Best of all, it allows me to take care of my son and then work when I want to. There is a subreddit work from home which pretty much sums up the overwhelmingly vast majority of work from home. I make $X working from home. Find out how you can too. Type bulls. Most of these jobs are not even worth your time to read about them. I don't want to do surveys. No one cares what an early 30-something white guy has to say and decline your survey eligibility anyway. All day long. I don't want to review products online. I don't want to buy a bunch of crap only to fail to sell it. I sure as heck don't want to be a forum spammer. And I don't want to write a bunch of nonsense blogs to clutter up search engine results. There are thousands of scams out there, and then the few that are legit pay so little that it is hardly worth the time. Always research any type of online opportunity before you commit time to signing up or applying. I tried one of those links where you sell insurance from home. After 6 months I had lost about $5,000. It's okay though. I got an email from a Nigerian prince last week and he is going to send me a large portion of his inheritance if I just send him $2,000 now. I put the check in the mail yesterday. I can't wait to be a millionaire. 2014 is going to be my year. Everything's turning up Millhouse. I make money online, but not using one of those programs. The people who earn money from those make money from home programs are the people selling them, and it's pure profit for them once they've created the product. If they're using something like ClickBank, where they have affiliates help sell the product for them, you could do that. but it's a lot of work in the beginning. There are a ton of ways to make money online. I earn money as an affiliate by buying ads via methods such as paid search, Google and Bing, and banner advertising. But this method takes a lot of money for testing and a lot of self-educating beforehand. If you know what you're doing, you can be making money pretty much on autopilot. There's no limit to what you can make. I used to work for KGB, the text messaging service, and it was a mix of awful and entertaining. The pay was crap and they actually ended up getting sued by the Department of Labor last year, and I got some money from a settlement. What I liked about it was being able to set my own hours, and sometimes the questions were hilarious or interesting. Those companies left as quickly as they arrived. I once knew someone who worked for Cha-Cha, taking pennies for witty answers to odd questions. Well, I make about $2,000 a month working at home, but I actually work, and B, I found sites to work for by searching and using writers' forums, not by clicking spammy ads. The golden rule of finding work online: anyone who asks you to pay money upfront before you're allowed to work for them is trying to scam you. Quibids if you want to count that. I got a $160 pair of Oakley sunglasses for 30 cents plus like $5 shipping, and $3.25 gas cars for around 50 cents plus $5 shipping each. In total I blew through $40 worth of bids, then gave up because it was too stressful. If you don't know what Quibids is, it's basically a bidding site where everything is new and things sell for far less than they're worth, but you have to pay for your bids. So if you bid then someone outbids you. You just spent like 20 cents on nothing. You pretty much have to watch for the bids to slow down, then try and snipe items at the last second. Never tried the scam ones, though my wife has wanted to do a few in the past. I always shot them down. Did a little mechanical Turk back when it was a cash cow. The reality is that there are tons of real, high-paying, work-at-home jobs. They generally require college degrees and some experience. If you want to work at home, just look at industries with a lot of remote positions and aim accordingly. I love working at home and I don't ever want to work in an office again if I can avoid it. I worked for Cutco Vector Marketing right out of high school. When they open up an office, they send out now hiring recent high school graduates. Make up to $17 HR balls letters to like every address in the city. You have to pay $150 for the display set. They make you sit through unpaid training seminars for a few weekends, and then they unleash you onto the public. It was okay money for a while, because they make you contact all your parents' friends, and friends' parents, and tell them that you just started a new job selling high quality cutlery, and you need to practice your presentation. At the time, I lived in a mostly middle class neighborhood, with some upper middle class thrown in, and almost every time, I would make at least $100 in sales. You then ask these people for more referrals, so you can practice more. I did pee off a lot of my friends, because they give you bonus sales items and crap if you give them a list of friends and phone numbers who might be interested in working for them. They even promise you 10% of whatever the people you refer make in the future. Total pyramid scam. Eventually you either give up on trying to make appointments through referrals, or your inner sociopath comes out and you only use your relationships for sales purposes. I will say that the sales training wasn't totally useless. I made several $1,000s that summer, and I could probably sell you a shirt you just threw away, and that I got an incredibly badass set of knives out of it. I would pay $150 for the same set, no problem. And I eventually got to join a class action lawsuit for unpaid training hours. So, happy ending. I spoke with someone who was pulling in a couple thou a month by stuffing and mailing envelopes. It was a mad amount of work however, and it worked out to something less than minimum wage. However, she did it at home, as much or as little as she liked, and she could enlist her kids as cheap labor. All in all, she had no complaints, but she wasn't ever going to get rich on it. I don't understand how idiots fall for this. 1. Nobody making real money on a system would create competition for themselves. 2. Anyone that had an easy to learn, foolproof system for generating profits would hire employees and pocket the profits themselves. I don't understand how people can't see this as obvious. They get their money goggles on. In desperate times come desperate methods of reasoning. Bit like those horrific loan adverts with like 30% interest. I'm a bit late, but my dad's friend responded to an ad in the paper that said something like, "Wanna learn how to get rich quick? Send $10 to the following address." He figures it's only $10. Let's give it a try. Sure enough, a week or two later he gets a letter. It says, "So you want to get rich quick? Here's how. Put an ad in the paper that says wanna get rich quick? Send $10 to the following address and people like you will send money." Simple. Can't argue with results, right? This ain't a scam, it actually does work. When I was a security guard making $12 an hour, I had nothing to do but sit in a lobby for 8 hours on my laptop. To make some extra money, I signed up for a company that paid you to find answers to people's questions. I don't think the company is in business anymore, but you used to see their ads on TV. The company was called KGB, Knowledge something something. Basically, someone would text a question to a number. I would get the question, Google it, and write back a response. I normally made about $3 an hour doing it. I only did it for a few months and I didn't put in more than 20 hours a week doing it. It was a nice little bit of extra cash. My mill sells Sensei. It is a work from home business. Her income is from commission. Depending on how much she sells, how many people she recruits, and how many parties she has, her commission goes up. The product is great, but along with the $99 joining fee, she had to invest in a lot of stock, as her goal was to participate in local flea markets. But other than that, she has been able to quit one of her jobs, which made her work 7 days a week, and she is still financially stable. TLDR. She had to invest a lot of money, but it's slowly starting to profit. Tried Russ Dalby's winning in the cash flow business with a couple friends in college. Basically just ordered the reading materials, took pictures of every page and returned it. Crap was like $150. Ended up making a bunch of calls to real estate owners looking to sell. The idea is you're essentially a middleman broker that collects a finder's fee if you can match a buyer with a seller. Got pretty close on a property in California that was selling cheap compared to the relative market value, always a good sign. Luckily my buddy's dad was in real estate. He looked up the location and noticed that the tax on the property was much lower than it should have been given the value we were quoted. Turns out it was a scam and the property was essentially a tiny driveway near a highway that you couldn't even build a house on, as opposed to the great property we were shown in pictures. Got out of the game before making a dime. If you are new to the channel, you can subscribe. I publish new videos every day. Until then, check another video. Bye for now.